Hi everybody, this is Mia. This is a check-in video. I do have, let me show you, I have some fruit, 7-Eleven. It's a tad overripe. I did pick the one that, what's the date? Oh shoot. Actually this one, I think I picked one that says sell by the 25th. There was a couple sell by the 23rd on top. They did have it set up first in, first out, released by dates, which is nice. But I had to travel around in the heat of the city, and the suburbs around the city, whatever, and whew, the vehicle was so hot yesterday because I had class, and this food was sitting out in the car, and I'm lucky that it's even edible. There's one that's really kind of getting slimy because I had to stay somewhere that didn't have a refrigerator. I ate raw foods. I had salad, ice packs, blueberries, a couple strawberries. I don't know what happened to the rest of my strawberries. Misplaced them. I actually really don't know where they are. I had 2 things of watermelon. And I didn't have room for the other container from Whole Foods, which I got later, and I should have ate this one first. The other one was pretty good, both are non-organic. The Whole Foods one was in a smaller container, but I had run out of room, and I had taken 3 trips to get to where I stayed from around the corner, because there's no parking at this place, which is lame. I mean, only blessing, because it's on a credit card. They double charge me for one night. They brought me a refrigerator. Thank God. Because I was able to, I had some juices and stuff, but by the time I came back, I had, thank God we got out a little bit early. I had, like, what do I want to say, like, it was hot. We got out like 2 hours early. One hour early or something like that. Thank God, but they didn't have breaks. You know, some places you have, like, breaks. So, people keep telling me I'm wrong. Alright, well, you didn't take this class before because it's new. It ain't new. I've been taking this since at least 2014. I took it 3 times at the hospital. Like, except that at the hospital they had a sim lab, and they recorded us, and then we, like, commented on the steps, and did everyone choose a role. Like, it was way more organized. I'm not against hospitals, but I get against when individual workers or their hospital policy is against me and my clients and patients' personal beliefs or education level or skin color or like. But then I realized I get that in and out of in and out. I need at least, you guys, anyone have in and out of hospitals? I had to realize that it's a human issue, not a institution. It's a human being issue, and you see it if you go to the gas station every day and that's the only place you go, like you're going back and forth across the country. If you go from there to your vehicle to the gas station, that's the only place you go, then it's like you'll have a huge view of, oh, I don't like how some of these people treat me. I don't like how the institution does this and this and this. I don't like how they only have convenience food. Oh, by the way, I bought 3 bananas from here. I already had some apples, so I should have bought an orange. I had 3 bananas from 7-Eleven. So you get 3 for $1, I think, with the club card. And watermelon. I know they had honeydew and cantaloupe. And cantaloupe. Was it honeydew? Yeah, it was another melon one. They had another one. There was a nice chunk of kiwi fruit right on top. That was, let's say grapes, maybe pineapple. So I like to support this kind of food because I was going away for several hours, like 24 something hours, 30 hours, I guess. And I didn't want to get somewhere and not have anything to eat, even though I packed at least 3 apples, the rest of my crackers, which I forgot about until I got home. I had set some stuff aside, 1 pack of noodles, which I prepared. So I'm pretty good. Pretty expensive. I don't like the cost associated with me, again, sacrificing everything that I have to help save 1 more life, 2 more lives, 3 more lives. And what sucks is what sucks is I don't get compensated and I don't get treated with any respect from even my own peers. They're gonna look at me and be like, there's no way you can do this. Like, you're doing it, and I actually am grateful for the program that I contacted one of my mentor, teachers, colleagues. I was going to do it. I call myself a midwife, right? And on the East Coast, I'm a physician who does natural childbirthing. We just use the word midwife because it's easier, but we had to get a 4-year medical degree and a license to be a physician, and then we add on a childbirthing, which again, it used to be called obstetrics certificate and license. So you had to get the degree and then the certificate, and then you had to get the license and then the add-on license qualification. And you can do so much with that. Childbirthing started in naturopathic medical school in NCB 1, Natural Childbirth 1, which led to 2 through whatever, 7 or whatever. Yeah, it's book stuff, but you need to know how to do neonatal resuscitation. We practice that in class. You need to know how to do, what's the other one? Everything, like how to care for pre-conception, conception, pregnancy, signs and symptoms, how to see babies, if are there any developmental or disabilities, or are there any physical things, emergency stuff, wrapping babies up if they have spina bifida in plastic wrap until they get to the hospital, to the NICU, guys. How to measure up your meds, the prescription. I say prescription, but if you're administering lidocaine or you're administering Pitocin, postpartum Pitocin, all that stuff, you need to know the dosage and all that stuff. Like, you can learn that in book smart, and then you spend thousands. At least I spent several thousand. I do like twice as much, at least, as everybody else in my same level. If we had the same certificate, I do twice as much. How many thousands of extra hours I do as precepting student? Thank God I only had to pay for the ones that were required by the school, which sucks, to pay to shadow someone and to do work. The births, the postpartum visit, the prenatal visit, the fetal loss, fetal demise, the emergent, urgent, and I did several things on my own as a doula, which I wasn't doing as a medical provider. And if anybody ever hired me as a medical provider, it would be for something I'm licensed in the healthcare field, by a medical board, which my doula is not. Doulas are doing all kind of cuckoo stuff. I can't believe Like, oh, this person needs help with this, and everyone's giving all this advice about pills and homeopathics. So I'm like, I don't want to do it. I gave somebody, oh, and I gave one person something that was a tea with a disclaimer that says any kind of topical or tea, something that you get at your local grocery store, any grocery store, non-medicine, like a food item, like it'd be like giving someone an apple. Basically, you're like, you need to clear this with your OB-GYN or your nurse midwife or your ND midwife or your CPM. You need to clear it with your provider, pregnancy provider, like, because. But I have this full disclaimer thing, and the amount of money that I spend every day, every year, every month to stay credentialed, and people they want to try to stiff me for their bill. A lot of it is education for all those careers. A lot of it for the medical is counseling. When I go to a counselor and they look at me like, oh well, we all like that. Dude, you were born from blonde hair, blue eyes, and white skin. We ain't all like that. When my suffering and struggle as a black woman and living in poverty has come out as, like, the struggle is, it's hell. It's a nightmare every day of my life. And I'm gonna enjoy my dang life, fools. But you ain't never, ever, ever able to compare. We're all in that situation. We all feel like that. We're all tired. No, you don't understand. I could have, $200 million in my bank account right now. I tell you what, because of systemic racism and microaggressions and everything else that surrounds sexism, racism, I'm obese, eating. You guys see me eating. I'm gonna say so. Like, say that all paranoid. You all see me drinking water, herbal teas, and this and this and this. Y'all see me eating salad. Got a couple of avocados. People tell you're fat because you eat bananas, almonds, and salad. Or avocados. That's why you're fat. I've so many times people tell me that's why I'm fat. Most people, if all they ate was nuts, almonds, avocado, and bananas and other fruit, they'd be severely underweight. And their family would question needing to put them in an institution for anorexia. Most people I know, even just getting rid of meat and like doing vegan meat products and dairy and eggs and gluten, they're gonna lose like a lot of weight. A lot of weight. I'm going to teach this class that took place yesterday. I was just thinking of sending somebody, no. One thing about asking people, does anyone have an Airbnb or accommodations? Like, can I sleep in someone's guest room, like, and pay for it? I don't know if that's allowed. Bring food, buy dinner or something for your family. But you got one person to ask somebody that's not available, and then you're like, thanks for one person, bro, because it's another thing when you're not popular and you don't have the look. People aren't going to help you. They're not even going to be like, good luck. You don't have this look. that people want, this beauty. It is terrible. It's like, it's like, you want to just say screw you. And now I'm getting old and elderly. So, between I'm black, being impoverished, having disabilities, having been raised in an abusive family, having PTSD, and a victim of multiple types of assault, including domestic violence and sexual assault, leaving my marriage and raising children alone, thinking that I was, married to the same person. Was going to be married, to the same person. Let's see how much this association costs. There is an association that deals with peds, and I see people have this on their they have a diverse picture on their website. They have a lot of statement on racism on the bottom, board advocacy. Let's see. First of all, let's see what the board certification events are. Oh, application period is closed. You need a 2-year accredited residency. 1,800, at least 5 years and 1,800 pediatric patient contacts. Approximately 65% of patient load, and submit cases for review by designated examiners, and 50 CEs and PEDS related topics. And then sit for another board exam. Shoot, forget that. I see more PEDS. All my first patients were PEDS, but I have no 1,800. I never even saw 1,800 people all together. So retain board certification, you have to do accreditation every 10 years to recertify it. What is this? To sit for a specialty exam. What? Complete a 1-year residency in PEDS or minimum of 3 years in a practice, with a minimum of 3,000 cumulative patients. What is this? 3,000 cumulative patients in 10 years that are PEDS? Or 65%. Completion of a 2-year pediatric residency. I've never even heard of an ND pediatric residency. I guess I don't belong to this exclusive. I won't never belong to this exclusive club. 5,000 patients in 5 years. You never see me sleep if that was me. 1,000 patients a year. What is that, like a 90 a month? Shoot. I'm a naturopath, dude. Like, if I see 90 patients a month. cases as approved. Cases actually look the easiest. Wait, 50 hours of documented PED CME in the past 3 years. Why the heck do you have to take another exam? It's like, listen, guys, my pediatrics is quite extensive, but I don't have a board certified residency because I train under naturopaths. Membership is $149, so do you actually have to complete all that stuff? Because it says that number, second from the bottom, it says board certification, eventual specialty designation, and board certification for those who are interested in specializing in peds. So can you join without, it's coming out of let's say Canada, Alaska. There's somebody that I know on this board. Oh, there's a lot of people. There's a couple people in Australia and New Zealand. I would like to know who they are. Let's see. I'll get riled up because I have not had anybody. Let's just see what I have their picture. I have not had any naturopaths buddy up with me. Even my friends that were my buddies. And I am fuming mad because I feel like this is not the way. This is not the way. Watch The Mandalorian. This is the way. This is not the way, guys. I think I would say that all day today, and then I'll get it out of my system. I don't know any of these people. I recognize a couple of names. So you can go on the pedanp.org, find /find-on-ND. There's one person. There's a lot of people. I'm still in the... Oh, I know that person too. I mean, I have a midwifery exam, license and exam, national, I don't know what kind of board this is, but a board accredited. Birthing also includes infant health. We got to show more. So someone over here in my state. I don't feel like, what's the point? Like, I actually wouldn't mind studying for the exam, but that's just another thing to have to pay for, take time out of my life, stress me out, and I don't even know if it's worth it. Or at least I looked into it, but I keep sacrificing so that I can be the best doctor ever, and so that I can give the best health care, and I just feel like it's not worth it to me, because the person I thought was on this board, I don't see their name, it's not worth it to me, because I'm not being treated like a doctor. I even have all these people addressing me by my first name, which is really annoying in that field, especially when I'm an elder, like twice their age. It's really uncomfortable for me. And if they say, oh, I'm gonna move to another provider, this or that, or go to a specialist, or like, oh, your plan is not working for me, and I'm like, you did not follow any of my treatment plan. So I spent 10 hours giving you an individualized treatment plan, and you keep rescheduling, and I keep giving you back the treatment plan and adding and tweaking it a little bit, and you're not listening to me maybe 1%, and then that 1% that you do follow, it needs to be connected to. So if I say to do 5 things and 5 products, maybe you're already taking some products, and 5 lifestyle changes or additions, going to see an acupuncturist, going to do chiropractic, you need to put that together, because it needs to be, what's the word, not symbiotic, what's the word when things are in conjunction? Oh, it's not systemic. What is that word? Synergy? What does that word synergy mean anyway? It's like synergy. You need to do, if I'm doing something, even my own primary care provider, who's not a physician, is telling me that I have, I can't remember if it was magnesium and vitamin D, or was it potassium? Anyways, because now I have more than one supplement, but it was the mineral with vitamin D, and I already have a vitamin D separate, but I have a product that I got, and there's some other stuff I need for, that I actually got from my partner, but it was not vegan, so I had to figure that out, because my body feels like it's falling apart. I tell people I never recommend raw food. I never recommend this. And I'm talking about, I don't tell people to do what I do. I tell people not to do what I do, because, I mean, what reason are you doing? To lose weight, to be healthy, to be trendy. I do my diet because of severe allergies. And this is not a trend diet. It's not a weight loss diet. This is not a fasting. It's not a Daniel's fast. It is, what can I eat until I grow my own food and I know what's in it that I'm not having severe reactions to. Everything I eat, I have severe, like I get this sinus issues and nose issues immediately. I ate at a restaurant and they gave me the wrong food, and they gave me the wrong food again, and they didn't give me my olive oil. I don't even know what I ate that looked like olive oil. It looked like runny olive oil, so I thought it was just a cheap quality, like that light olive oil. I went in the bathroom, my nose was completely white with mucus. I actually literally had to, there was no paper towels. I guess I could have used toilet paper. I had to sit there and, wash my nose and walk out with a wet face. And it's not just, I know people that say, oh, my spouse, they get sick when they eat and they cough and they sneeze every single time. I say it's probably allergies. So they're not allergic to anything. But maybe it's not allergies then. But it only happens when they eat, and you eat the standard American diet. Okay, so this is not a medical. This is me saying, people don't listen to me. This isn't me saying you have a doctor, you have a medical condition, go to your healthcare provider. I haven't seen a doctor in years, I don't think. Actually, I did. They were very indifferent and really treated me like an ignorant. Oh my god, it's sickening, how I get treated. It's not even if my partner went in there and had no medical knowledge because he's white, they would have talked to him way differently. You're almost 50 years old, bro. We know. Did you know there's an organ in your body called the heart? This is not a kindergarten class, people. Toddlers, I let toddlers listen to their heart if they want. Little kids, 4, 5-year-olds. I want to give you an experience right now. Anyways. I'm going to give you an experience and treat you. I think that's the problem with me. I would treat everybody as a human who's a human. And then people say that I spoil my animals. Why? Because they're not being abused and not being neglected and not being given crappy food. Like, I was trying to get a dog and everyone's like, you have to crate train it. Like, didn't it used to be that people got dogs and cats and they let them roam around their house and they'd come home during lunch and walk their dog and, you know, take her to the park after work? Like, what happened to those days? Like, I was just like, great. Everyone was telling me I had to get a dog and keep it in a box for 8 hours a day. Like, I mean, I understand. I don't even understand. Even the breeders were saying that. I'm like, they can't even walk. They can't even stretch their legs. They can't do like animals like to do and protect the grounds and go look out the window. If you got a doggy door to the garage, I mean, I can understand if your dog's messing up the house and you got a garage or a backyard, they can have like a room with a doggy door where they can come and go and use the potty, and they have a job. I'm not trying to say that it's wrong, because I don't know what people's personal beliefs, just like talking about the hospital system. But I feel like if I had a dog, I want my dog to be in the yard and to be able to come in and out of the house and be able to protect the grounds and give them a job to look at birds and look at squirrels and see, you know, what delivery person is coming to the door so they can yip and yap and just be like, oh, you know, let's not mess with this house because they got a dog, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know. Like, I've seen cats being pretty destructive. I don't see people keeping their cats locked up. Maybe they do. I don't know. It's a big world. I have caged animals that are rodents, and they have playpens connected to their cage, or the cage is the pen, or whatever it is that we had set up. And even that I felt bad, but they'd be around chewing on wires and getting into stuff and chewing on the little rubber things, that the door stoppers. I just realized we don't have any of those door stoppers in this apartment. I think I'm gonna check, because that should be a standard. I'm gonna go get something else to eat, start the hot water. Today's video was supposed to be about bug out bags, and I just got all upset about this extra credential that a bunch of people have for this association. It might take me my whole career to see 1,800 pediatric only patients. Now, if you counted the ones where I did on preceptor, then that number's gonna like rise up pretty fast, but it's still gonna be in the hundreds, not the thousands. Me personally, I will see the same patients. Like, I was like, oh, I see several families and they have between 3 and 7 kids. I should, you know, really look at the math. Maybe I do qualify. But if it said 1,800 per year, different people versus 1,800 visits, now that'd be a whole nother story. If it was if I saw the same patient once a month, twice a month, up to every 2 months, then if I counted each visit, then I would be way closer to that number. But if you see the same adults and children and babies over and over again, for me, there's not a lot of space to keep piling on new patients until I get my new patient stuff. And in fact, I got to contact a couple people here. Today is the day of rest. The bug out bag, I went to, I hope guys that I posted this video about the Walmart trip. The scenario was that there were 2 vehicles that me and my partner had were both in the shop. And this actually, right when I said it, the next day we actually had both vehicles in the shop, which was pretty scary. But it was, I don't even know. I should pay more attention when my partner gets the parts. He knows how to get the parts and order them and fix the vehicles and get a little support from our mechanic. This mechanic is car doctor. He is an inspiration to me as a doctor. The way he does business is excellent. So I need to earn some money so we can make sure to give him our business and give him the money he deserves. But, because, yeah, in order to function, there's old people walking on the road, and they need to build sidewalks and crosswalks. I'm like, this is the highway. You don't need sidewalks and crosswalks. People shouldn't be walking on the highway. It's not like a highway. It's like a state highway. It's like, dude, there's people that don't drive, and the bus is expensive and doesn't even come. You need to get from one side of that road to another because there's apartments on both sides. There's stores and restaurants and Walmart and McDonald's and places of work on both sides. There's doctors' offices and dentists on both sides. If you work here, and you don't have a vehicle or you're on a bike, you're going to have to share the road with the cars, which people did before there were cars. These roads all over were footpaths and horse paths and bicycle paths. So it's like, if the adult or the person who's walking came first, why don't they make accommodations everywhere for the footpaths? And not just like now, like before, like when the rich were able to buy cars and the rest of us were walking, and the rich were able to buy horses, we had to walk in that mess, that horse mess and all that stuff. And then you made it so that to make life tolerable, you had to go to box stores and drive your kids to special daycares and drive to work in the city and go back home in the suburbs. And they wanted to sell the cars. That's why they changed Detroit. The workers walked to work and did not buy the Fords. And they built suburbs and said, you have enough money to live there, because they needed that money back so that their pocketbooks could get bigger, guys. There's a design for everything. And there are people that are underserved populations are the brunt of society. People like me. People like the homeless, people that have severe and not so severe physical, mental disabilities, and developmental disabilities that are not addressed, and that why are the people that have a certain look and skin color getting all the services and getting the Social Security income for their loved one. You see some of these cases where the parents blowing the money and just sitting and using it for all the cable bills and the fast food and all that stuff. It's not necessarily to, pay to get a van or something, that accessible vehicle, or to, I see it. It's just like, oh, this is my job. I sit home with this kid and I take in this money. They're not able to go to work for part-time, let the daycare or the school take care of the child for a few hours, and that the money could help supplement that, put it away for meds, put it away for transportation or traveling to see a specialist. I haven't ever got that money, so I don't understand. So if that is your job and you are taking your $1,500 a month in Social Security disability, that's not up to, I don't think it's not up to me, and I don't think that SSI tells you. But I had that scenario where we didn't have any help, we didn't have any ride. We had, I think I said we had $60, $10 for transportation for the bus, $2.50 each way to go like a couple miles, and then $50. And I went and made a list and looked up the prices on Walmart. So today I was looking at the paper plates. It's like, oh, I'm using a paper plate. I'll be using it like all day. I said I should have got the plastic cups I had the plastic cups. I should have got the plastic plates. Excuse me, in like the plastic or metal travel silverware, and put that in my bug out bag, or use those plates in lieu of using these disposable plates, which I feel like if I had my bug out bag, I'd use both. So towels, napkins, reusable stuff, rags, good washcloths, dish rags, general purpose. I have some kitchen reusable, they're kind of supposed to replace paper towels. We don't have adequate washing areas, so it's like kind of hard to think that you're going to use it to sop up grease. I don't think so. Use it to wipe down everything after handling raw meat, and then just go and, use it to wash all the dishes without some sort of really good washing So that's hard. That's a hard decision. But if you had to bug out and that's all you had, you're going to designate disposable and not disposable in like a rag, like a torn up t-shirt. My wrist hurts. A bunch of people were messing with my wrist yesterday and I'm getting mad about it. Yesterday was dog eat dog. Oof. Sick. Alright, so going through that list, I guess the only thing, again, hopefully, fingers crossed that I put that other video up. I can do another one though. I'll look through the titles to see if I have it. Clothing, socks. I had taken off my boots the other day after having them on all day, and I had some cotton socks on. They weren't that thick, and they were sweaty, and I felt so bad. Like, I felt like they're kind of musty. I said, oh my god, I need to make sure if we're traveling by foot or by car or any bus, you maybe want to change your socks 2 or 3 times to keep them, because there's the blistering and fungus that you could already have, or you could be making a nice habitat. They're breathable and lightweight tennis shoes and shoes like that. I typically don't wear those for different reasons. Somebody got me some shoes from Payless, and they were free, or they paid for it with this donation money they had to help poor people like me. And I got a pair of, was it Adidas? I don't know what they were, but they had these gray shoes that had like suede around the front, and there was, for like $2 more, there was another pair that had like leather or something over the front. So it had a little bit more, less of that meshy or kind of like fabric, like polyester or nylon or something lightweight fabric. And she goes, I go, oh, I want those ones, the $2 more ones. She said, no, you're getting these, let's go. And I was in Portland, Oregon, and the weather was rainy a lot, and there's a lot of puddles, and it's not like we all want to just splash around in the puddles while we're wearing these tennis shoes, but they're only shoes you have. You're going to walk around, versus those and like a pair of flats or whatever you have to go to church in, and it's like you're going to walk around in those shoes to get to and from wherever you go, or you're going to walk outside or go check the mail, rain for 3 or 4 days, and it's like every time I wore those shoes, it's like the wind and the rain would get on that part above the, right below where the toes are, and I had a pair of Doc Martens from the 90s that have a hole in the toe, and the same thing happened. The rain and wind would get in that hole, and it would make it like miserable. And let alone if I would have developed a foot fungus or toenail fungus, just having all that moisture. And they don't, their stuff is still made with a lot of polyester, man-made material, linings and all that, soles and all that stuff. So it's pretty sad to think that they wouldn't do $2 and give you what you wanted. And I don't know what happened, that those shoes eventually got given away. I'm surprised I gave them away. I feel like they weren't, I don't know, I'm surprised. I had not been able to, I feel like I didn't do a good job of deciding what to get rid of and what to keep. But then I'm doubting myself. At the time that you have the decision, a lot of it was inspections. It's like, this has got to go. And maybe it was, like, maybe I still have those shoes. I don't think I do. They might have just sat in the counter. People say, if you haven't touched it in so many months, you need to get rid of it. I'm like, oh, my Sorel boots. Shouldn't have got rid of those. Like, this insurance check isn't going to pay to replace them. Like, because you could be in Portland and not have snow. Anywhere now. We might not have deep snow for 1 or 2 or 3 years, and then it dumps. And then, like, during COVID, the roads were not plowed, and it was just deep snow in the middle of the road. My daughter took a picture. Even if you try to get on the bus might not come because it can't get through. But highways turn to parking lots. You're going to be wishing you had those boots in your closet and or in your car, so you could walk home, so you could walk to get the mail, so you could walk to the Fred Meyer and get you some food, because there's no delivery driver, no pizza coming, there's nothing. Like, like, you're not going to want to wear those holy boots or the shoes that are mostly nylon or mesh, and that's sometimes all people have, and you end up somewhere. Like, I had this one pair of shoes, speaking of flats, my church shoes, they had holes. These were really comfortable. They were naturalizer, what's that called? They were black flats, and there was, I think they had like a tiny heel or something. There's like rock shoved up in there, and there was holes in the bottom of the shoes. And I was walking around. I got this job at a medical lab, and I didn't make enough money. I was just finishing my medical school, getting ready to do boards. Most people weren't going to apply for jobs after medical school. They went and took the 7 weeks to go study for the boards. You don't pass the boards, you don't get to be a doctor, straight up. So there ain't no doctor going to look at me and say, you're not a doctor, you're not this. I passed my test, buddy. I paid my fees, buddy. Like, you think that's exclusive to you? Why? Because I'm black? Because I'm poor? Because my hair sticks up? You know what? Guess what? It's about my brain. You don't sit there and look at me and say black people aren't doctors. Tell me I'm lying. Mm-mm. But I've been poor and been paid less than everybody, walking around in those puddles and having my foot be soaking wet, and having my coworker say, I had to use the bathroom for a minute. Like, I had to put some paper towels. Like, you think they're minding business of putting paper towels inside of my shoes. It smells like the bug spray they sprayed in this refrigerator. Anyways. And she was talking about, I think she's the one, I think I had to go wring my socks out because they were just dripping wet with water. And imagine being at a 4 or 8 hour shift with your feet sopping wet. And you have to say, this is going to get better. But it could get worse before it gets better. And there's no guarantee that your life will improve because you're lucky to have shoes at all. Most people have multiple pairs of shoes. What happens when you have 1 or 2 pairs and you're trying to work at a professional institution, dressed up, and you don't have clothes, you don't have shoes, you don't have it, you don't, like, I feel like most people have closets and closets of professional clothing, shoes, different purses, different coats, different laptop bags, and all that stuff. But if you're like me and you ended up with just free pile stuff on the side of the road that you hope can make do, and you can't even afford to put it in the wash, but you have to. So it goes in a trash bag until you get enough quarters to go pay to do laundry, because your facility does not have laundry service for free. You're going to pay, more than 10 back then, 14, 15, 20 years ago, it was at least $10 per load. Maybe back then it was more like $5 or $6. I'm trying to do the math, but you see what I'm saying. This one here, I told you, just to wash and dry a few things, $90, and we spend up all our money. It's time to go. It's costing you over $10 to try to dry something that doesn't even dry it, doesn't even heat up. They need to fix their machines, you know. So think about that when you have a washer and dryer and you go wash your clothes and you go pick out your shoes and you, oh, I'm going to a wedding, oh, I'm going to church, oh, I'm going to a job interview, oh, I'm going to my kid's parent-teacher conference, oh, I'm just going to the grocery store, oh, I'm going to the gym, oh, I'm going to paddle boat with a friend, and you have an outfit for everything. And you look at people that are homeless and poor moms that aren't getting any type of support from the system or not everyone gets welfare, not everyone gets child support. And you're saying, these people need to get a job. Yeah, I went in with the best clothes that I had to go get a job. There's Just for Success. Guess what? I never got help. I've been trying to contact them for 20 years. I'm not even trying anymore. Desolate, broke, homeless, going in, dropping off paper applications for jobs, looking like crazy, getting clothes off the floor of the basement of the homeless shelter, used underwear, used bras, used socks, old 1960s polyester clothing, trying to say, can I piece this together and make it work? Wool clothes, all their stuff with stains on it that I can't afford to take to the laundromat, let alone the dry cleaners, trying to make it work. And you wonder why I didn't get the job. Let alone thinking that I'm going to go get, either try to put a scarf up in my hair or go get my hair done to look kempt, you know. At least for that first impression, you know. And you try to say, like, you don't even have nail clippers, nail files. Get to share a shower in a shelter that's timed. If you can only use it at a certain time. So what do you have in your bug out bag that if the world turns its back on you like they have for me, that you want to have your own comforts and your own survival, basically, but you want to have your comforts, raise your spirits, deck of cards, you know, some paper, a pen, some notes, some writing and drawing stuff. You could literally write notes to your loved ones if you have to get up in the middle of the night and try to be like, you might have gone out and got a bathroom at some camp or something, and it could be a trap. Someone could say, hey, they're giving away, you know, free bread or free fruit at 6 a.m. at this address. It could be a setup. They could just rob you. But you could take a pen and pencil and write a note to your loved one and, like, tape it to their sleeping bags. That's the first thing they see when they get up. Like, be back at 7. Gone to this address. Be careful. We'll use caution, you know. If you don't have pens, pencils, because pens run out, pencils can be sharpened, except those ones that are made funky, Sharpies, all kind of stuff, pens, tape, you're able to do something. You're able to write down the date, you're able to write down addresses, you're able to get, just draw flowers that are edible, whatever. Somebody teaches you something. So if you don't have paper and pen, and for a while you might have packaging that you could write on. You might have, like, paper tissue box you could tear open and write on, but that stuff doesn't last as long. And that stuff could also be used to start a fire or whatever, for cooking and heat. I had one final thought and I forgot what it was. That makes me sick. I was having a rough day the other day, and I kind of wish I had slept in. I was having a rough day the other day, and I had put back on the, hello? Everest, the stuff from 2023, it wasn't too much on there when I searched that I was interested in, so I went back to was it 1984 or 1986 incident? I'm sorry, I forgot the dates. Where Beck Weathers was left for dead a couple times, and they had I guess there was, I don't even know his name, there was one surviving expedition leader, and it wasn't, I guess Rob Hall died, that brown-haired guy, and then the Scott Fisher, the blonde-haired guy, didn't they die in that one? Anyways, the reporter, so it's 60 minutes, I think, is it Australia? I think I've watched this before, but I watched it because that's what gets me up over hump, and they tried to instigate something with, hey, how did it make you feel to be left for dead? And he's like, oh, he was like really protected the people that left him. When you watch some of the longer documentaries about Beck Weathers, you can see that he was left in the snow, face down. And I don't know if people were ascending and descending and just like, oh, there's one of our own, let's just leave him. Like, or if he got lost and somebody, a Sherpa, I'm sorry, because I've not watched the documentaries that often. Or if he was lost in the blizzard and the Sherpas went and said, he's dead, he has no life, and report back. So everyone's like, oh, that's too bad, he's dead. But he had his wife and kids. I think that was him that had the wife on a satellite phone, I think, like, oh, I'm sorry, we don't know where he is, or something. And he has a vision of his wife coming to him, and he gets up and he makes his way. I think he was only 50 feet from the camp. What's the one at the top, Camp 5 or whatever? And what I remember was that vision gave him the energy to get up and go back, I think he was snowblind, and go back to the tents. And somebody found him. Again, I think I'm talking about the right person. You can go and look this up. And they gave him a warm tea and put him in a different tent by himself in a sleeping bag or whatever. And the tent was like, the wind was so strong, it was like blowing over, like all over his face, like smothering him. And he couldn't really move or anything. And what I think happened, here's the last of my crackers, so by the way, the puppy, he had, I thought, where somebody had peeked down. They were about to descend. And thought he was dead. Because he was just like laying there. And what would you do if you're in dust zone and people leave you out in the snow with your face down and your face is, I should say, burnt, frostbitten off. Toes are frostbitten off. He's laying in the sleeping bag with this warm drink and I don't know, a container, thermos or whatever they gave him. They didn't really intend to come back and grab him. If it were me, if I was thinking right, which you don't when you get that high up in the death zone, I felt like you would have sit in the tent with him and helped rub his feet and hands and toes. That's just me though. And these people get edema in their brain, edema in their lungs, and they have to get out. But to leave someone alone, have the wind blowing all over you, while you're somewhere like I feel like if we were all in a situation like that, your body might be saying, you need to save your life now. You need to save your own life. Like, I haven't been in that type of situation. I've been in several situations where I had emergencies, and other people didn't, and they left me for dead. They left me to fend for myself. If I had a different look, I guarantee that wouldn't happen. Even if I had a different look as a black person. And it's pretty sad. I don't know if the storm is worsening or whatever, but Beck gets up again and makes his way. I think the next one down is Camp 4. And then they're like, oh wow, he's here, we need help, send help or whatever, or they guided him down because he couldn't see. So when life gets to where I feel like everybody's pouncing me, everyone's super passive aggressive and regular aggressive towards me, like most people, teachers, colleagues, healthcare providers, people in public. I just get to, my family members, it started with my own family. The elders were jerks. You want to think that there's a loving, kind elder, grandmas, aunts, uncles, dads, mother, in-laws. You want to think like older cousins. You want to think there's someone you can come home. Oh, child, it's so nice to see you. You want to be able to be like that. Not. And I mean, we ain't something like having elders say, you better at least make sure, but the bare minimum that you and your kids go to Harvard. You better make sure that it's not even that kind of like nitpicky. It's just like, I'm the black sheep, and everything you do is wrong, and you're the jerk, not me, because I'm jealous of you, because I don't like you, because you're smart. It doesn't take intelligence to make it in this world. Why do you think the makeup and the hair industry is so expensive, and even the pharmaceutical industry? So when these people walk past and keep walking past this guy when he's only a few feet from camp, and then they throw him in a tent alone and abandon him, and they descend and leave him there. They didn't stick a mirror under his nose to see if he was breathing. They didn't test the pulse. And then he goes down, and I don't even know if this guy's still alive. I'm gonna look him up. His face is black. His nose is like gone. His fingers and hands are all messed up, but I think he's in a wheelchair. Blessings to these people that were left for dead and they survived. They're miracles. What is the attraction to the Himalayas? What is the attraction to Everest? The pull, that gravity, that force, even the salt mines underneath the Himalayas, this Himalayan pink salt. It's really fascinating. It draws me in. A moment of silence for the doctor that died. I believe in the climbing. It's already, it's May now. 2023. 5/23/23. Blessings to the family of the doctor that I heard just died from Seattle, Washington, on Mount Everest. I don't know the story at all. You can get some money, and you can pay some money, and you can be part of the elite and stand in line to summit the mountains. Not just Everest, but many mountains to travel. To have the correct paperwork, passports, visas, climbing fees, all that. And then there's people like me that can't, people say, oh, how's it like living near the water? Oh, you know what? I forget that we live near the water because I don't see the water. Because it's 99 or 97% privately owned beachfront, waterfront properties for the whole state. So it's 99% of this county is private homes. We don't have the opportunity to be on the water. There's a couple bridges here and there, but you're going 40-something miles an hour. So my adventure can be what I can see inside my heart, my home, my lifestyle, my block, my neighborhood, and beyond. And when I do travel, I get so stressed. It's so abnormal. It's hard to pack. It's hard to find food. But it's my adventure, and I need to not take it for granted, because that's the memories that I have. I want to be able to calm down. Virginia, 2 years ago, I believe, when the winter storms cost these people getting on the freeway, nobody said don't get on the freeway because there's no exits. If they would have said that, a bunch of people probably would have been saved, but they were stuck out in the cold for days. 3 hours, too much. 6 hours, too much. 12 hours, way too much. But days. In your car, you have no gas. Could you imagine being like, oh, I'll get gas when I get back to town? You have no gas, no electric, your phone's not working. You might have had a bug-out bag like I did, that you ate all the food and took all the cash out and don't know where the electric blanket or the emergency blankets and batteries and chargers are, and then you end up, like me, I had misplaced my bag. I used to stay in the car. Then you have to worry about thieves. Then it's like, do I carry my regular stuff and the bug out bag, or the car everyday carry? And there's nothing in it but old fishing lures and all this stuff. But what do you do if you don't have a place to use the toilet? You don't have some toilet paper. You don't have the food, water. A bread truck started feeding people bread. I would have had to eat bread, you know. And imagine if you had everyday carry in your car that you could have kept safe in your garage or wherever. You could try to do what you can with a barking dog. And what if you had a little potty in the back, a bucket toilet with the disposable liners? What if you had toilet paper? What if you had like emergency sleeping bags that could fit in your glove box with the foil that goes over it, and sunshade, and change of clothes, socks, water, all kinds of water, bunch of toilet paper, all kinds of food, MREs, and, you know, powdered drinks, orange juice. Like, what if I had freeze-dried oranges? I might rather make orange juice. I'm gonna look into that. Freeze-dried oranges, make them water, taste flavorful, like tang, utensils, plastic cup. Then you would have what other people didn't. So then you want to be able to blacken out your windows, because you could be sitting there eating all day and people go like, is that guy eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Is that guy eating chicken, like MRE, chicken cacciatore, like all this stuff? And they'll be knocking on the door, please, I have a baby in the back. She's hungry, I don't have formula. Please, I have a 5-year-old. Can you spare an extra sleeping bag or blanket? Because what if you had two, one for you and one your partner's with you, but it's freezing cold? Maybe you're using both of them. People are going to see what you have. So you need to be ready for that. You need to be ready to think, do you have extra to barter? Are they going to pull a gun on you? Are they going to guilt trip you so you're sitting there eating peanut butter and jelly wrapped up all warm with a whole bunch of chargers and a miniature TV in the back with an antenna that works? And you're just like, put some music on and dance, you know, inside your vehicle. Maybe it's such a van that you could stand up in it. You got a potty. Some say, oh, we don't want our kid going to the toilet out in the snow like everybody else. You got a potty back there? Oh, well, I only have 5 bags. And you're like, it's COVID and all this stuff. Anyways, that's another scenario that really happened. The people going to Everest, they know the odds, but the people driving 10, 20 miles up the street to get somewhere, and the highways are shut down, and I don't think any emergency vehicles came out to tell these people, here's some toiletries and here's some food. They just left them out there to fend for themselves. That's sick. And there's vehicles that can go on any terrain, whether they're snowmobiles, whether they're those like things with like the roller. So look at your own oxygen mask. Get some for others for bartering, but think about the fact that you might have enough in there for 2, and you might have 4 people in your car that day. So then you're rationing with your own guests. Think about it. It could be at an airport. It could be at a bus station. You could be only 10 miles, 5 miles from home, and you're not able to walk, or the conditions are bad, or they could have it blocked off because of an emergency. I would like to just go out with just my keys and go walk and do all this stuff. Like, oh, I need water. Oh, I need a raincoat. Oh, and it's a pain. And then you do get stuck in traffic and you have all this water and stuff, and you're like, well, I don't want to drink it all because I'm going to have to pee. And there's nowhere to go. Do you think about? And then you're just like, again, the portable potty in the back. They have those little containers too that you could probably squat in the back seat and go. So just think about that. Especially for women. A man could figure something out, but a woman would need to have a wider mouth on something that's not going to cut you, you know. So just think about that without paranoia. Remain joyful. It's like wearing or carrying life jackets in your boat, you know, safety ring. My personally, I like to just wear them, but there's a reason that we have the opportunity to do this stuff, and if we're really poor, we make do. That roll of paper towels could work wonders if you're stranded somewhere. And that would fit in a backpack. Peace, guys.